Hi, I'm Karl Waizecker, Principal Broker at Kline May Realty. Thanks for joining me for another Q&A with Kline May. Again, we're here today at Greens and Grains Cafe right on the corner of Port Road and Devon Lane in Harrisonburg. And in a little bit, I'm going to try some of their coffee. Our question for today is kind of the flip side of last week's question, which was dealing with buyer representation. Today, I'd like to talk about seller representation and what are the different ways that that can go. When a seller signs an agreement with a company, and that's the first thing to remember, is that you're signing the agreement with the broker, with the entire company. And unless an agent in that company is working with a buyer who is actively interested in your house, all of those agents are working for you and representing your best interest. So then we get to the question of what happens when offers start to roll in. And that's where the relationship with your permission could change a little bit. So with regard to seller representation, when you start to get offers, there are really three ways that it can go. First one would be that the buyer who's interested in your house doesn't have an agent at all. They're not represented. That's perfectly fine. If it's okay with that buyer, they certainly have the right to work with an agent, but if they're okay proceeding without it, your agent is working for you. And they can do administrative work for the buyer, fill in the blanks on the contract and that kind of thing, but they can't advise them. They can't advise them on price. They can't advise them on what to ask for after the home inspection and those kind of things. But in your best interest, they're going to do everything they can administratively to make sure we get to closing. The second part has to do with what I said a little bit ago about everybody in the firm representing you. If you happen to get an offer from a buyer who's represented by an agent in the same firm as your agent, as the seller, then we run into a situation called designated agency. And that is legal in Virginia, and it simply says that even though you're both in the same firm, and even though you both have the same broker supervising these agents, the buyer's agent represents the buyer fully, the seller's agent represents the seller fully. Certainly they don't share any information back and forth, and the broker is what's known as a dual agent representing both, which really limits me a bit in what I can do in terms of the advice I can give the agents. I can't advise one agent in a way that would help one of our clients over another. And that dual agency then is the third way that it could go. If your listing agent happens to have a buyer client who is a good match for your house and they decide to make you an offer. Then again, if it's okay with you, both designated and dual agency require the written permission of everybody involved. So if it's okay with you, your agent then becomes a dual agent, which means that they are representing the interests of both parties and they have to remain neutral. They can't advise one party over the other. So those are the three ways a seller can be represented. Typically, compensation doesn't change in those different situations, but that's totally up to the broker and what you negotiate with the broker at the front end of your listing agreement. So we're here at Greens and Grains Cafe, and I'm excited to try their coffee because it is a local coffee from Merge Coffee Company. Just as expected, it is really, really good. Merge is always very consistent, and this is a good, full-bodied coffee without even a hint of bitterness. Super good stuff. If you've got a coffee you'd like me to try, or a local location, or a real estate question, please email that to me at questions@klinemay.com. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.